Oh, with the microphone. So the way this works is that, or for anyone that records interviews or audio, not audio, I don't know about music and shit, but interviews in general, it's better to under record and then blow it up with like through software, make it louder, because it's easier to do that than having really loud captured audio and compressing it down, because you're going to lose a shitload of value by compressing rather than by expanding it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so basically what I do is I just, at the end of it, I check like what the average peak is, because when we laugh and stuff, it like shoots up. So then you just cut it off at the average at the average peaks, and you get your normal audio. You can just normalize it, and Bob's your uncle. Yeah, so we're talking about touch typing.
Yeah.
So repeat what you pretty much said.
Yeah, so we're having the conversation about learning new skills. I'm just bumping everything.
Yeah.
I'm really doing well.
Better put this down just in case.
Yeah, so I do a lot of typing. I have for a long time.
Because you're a programmer after all.
I'm a programmer. It's
Typing is your
very
bread and butter.
common, very common requirement of programmers is typing. And I actually did consider myself a fast typer. I was above average, to say the least. But over the last week, I realized that I was actually typing wrong this whole time.
What made you realize, like...
I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. I discovered the world of custom mechanical keyboards.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other rabbit hole that I'm probably going to go down at some point.
Some of them look fucking cool, man.
I'm going to build
especially the ones that like curve around so you can like rest like naturally.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to go for a more simple one, but I'm interested in building properly building one, like soldering it.
You're actually going to build one?
Yeah, but not yet.
Yeah.
Like down the road, I'd save up and stuff and invest a decent amount of money, because I use the keyboard so much. It's something I can.
It's like you're physically going to build it.
Yeah, that's what these custom mechanical keyboards do. Like you buy. Okay, before we get into the typing conversation.
Yeah.
You buy different parts from all over the internet, and there's different like varying quality levels and stuff like that. So you buy like the case, you buy the PCB, which is like the actual where all the switches are attached to, the electrical board basically. You can buy different keycaps, you can buy different like stabilizers for the keys. There's like sound dampening foam that you can get. There's different it's a really in-depth industry. Niche hobby, but yeah. And then the other thing that people are doing is lubricating the switches in their mechanical keys. So you can get different types of switches, but in a mechanical keyboard, how you got switches, depending on like clicky, linear, tactile, etc. Yeah. There's different lubes that you can get for them, right? Yeah. That's what they call it. They call it lube, and it's.
So are they lubed normally?
No. So normal factory default ones aren't. They're just the standard plastic.
Okay.
Switch basically.
Yeah, so continue.
But what people are doing is they're buying lubricant and they're taking the switches apart and painstakingly painting lube on the contact points of each individual switch, and then once they put it back together, it makes this huge difference. Like the keyboard sounds so much nicer, the typing experience is apparently better. I don't know, I haven't tried it, but anyway, the whole mechanical keyboard, custom mechanical keyboard hobby, I don't even know how I found it, but I was just looking into it and I was like watching videos about it and stuff, just kind of scoping out what it was. And then the way they do it is people will record their builds and then they'll do a typing test on it. And once I started watching these people doing their typing test, there was people getting like 140 words per minute, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of had the thought of like, man, I'm consistent and somewhat quick, but nowhere near that speed. It would be cool to kind of practice and get faster. I don't know. I just went down this rabbit hole of like Googling proper typing technique and like kind of like shortcuts to increase your speed even quicker, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, for I think I'm up to my fourth or fifth day. Okay. And I essentially had to rebuild all of my muscle memory from the last probably 15 years I've been using a computer from scratch. So I started at literally, I think it was like 20 words per minute when I like on my first day of
like
typing.
with the correct.
Yeah, and I'm purposely only touch typing from now on. Like I'm not going back to my old method. I'm just using like home row technique, like the proper typing method.
Yeah, so the way you were typing, just to explain it, you were like clicking around with a few fingers.
Yeah, it just wasn't very structured. Like it wasn't that I was like hunting and pecking like people do.
Hunting and pecking?
That's what they call it. Yeah, apparently when you use your 2 index fingers, that's called hunting and pecking.
Yeah,
right? And don't get me wrong, like I wasn't watching the keyboard. I wasn't like super slow or anything. I was getting by confidently. But I would use like different amounts of fingers on each hand, and I would kind of like move one hand more than the other, and I would like, you know how with home row like you have allocated fingers for allocated keys. I kind of didn't follow that structure, so I was kind of moving my hands a lot more, and because I was moving my hands more, the time between each key was a little bit longer on some keys than other keys. Whereas with home row,
it's all instant.
It was consistent.
So for the people that don't know, basically that on your J and is it G? J and F.
F and J,
F and J. They have like little notches that you can feel with your fingers, and that's where your index fingers have to go, and your other fingers go like across from it.
Yeah.
And then you type everything from there. Like each finger has a section of letters dedicated to.
Yeah, so basically you keep them in the middle row, so your fingers are all in line, and then for every finger you can either go up or down, basically for the keys above, like diagonally up or down, kind of, because it's a little bit slanted. If you're curious, just Google home row technique, and it will come up with information and like graphs and stuff, diagrams. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyway, I have gone through the effort of trying to properly retrain my fingers and. That was a really weird experience. Going from something that you're actually somewhat like used to doing
for such a long
and
time.
Forcing your brain to kind of do the slow way instead of the quick way has been really weird. But I started, first day was 22 words per minute. Second day was like 40 or 50. Third day I got to 70, and then yesterday before I went to bed I got to 88 words per minute with the new technique. I'm hoping tonight I can do 100. That's the goal, but it's
100. Like once you get past like 95, then it comes to like you being able to like spell out the word correctly in a certain period of time and hitting the right keys.
And reading ahead is another skill you have to learn. If you're doing like typing tests, for example, you have to be reading multiple words ahead of what you're actually typing.
When it goes like up like that, that's basically more. That doesn't just rely on like your typing skill. That already starts to rely on all these other techniques that come in handy.
So if I actually do consider myself a touch typer now. I can comfortably type without looking with proper technique. Now it's just me trying to get speed kind of thing, trying to improve my words per minute. And for me, I'm not just doing like all lowercase words. I'm doing like uppercase letters, punctuation. No, I'm purposely trying to do all of the keys that you need to press, like numbers, symbols, etc., and do that at a high words per minute. But yeah, like the whole learning process of forcing your brain to forget something that it has a habit of doing, and then rebuilding muscle memory, doing the same thing but in a different way, has been a really unnatural feeling.
How many hours do you think you dedicated between like doing 20 words per minute and 88 words per minute?
I was probably doing, for the first day I did like 2 hours of just sat there and just did a test, like a typing trainer thing. And there's a really good website. It's called keybr.com. The way it does it is it gives you randomly generated words, so like they're similar to English but they're not English, and it forces you to focus on specific letters, and then as you improve with accuracy and competency of that letter, it incorporates a new letter in, so it gradually kind of like builds your muscle memory one at a time, with like one letter at a time. So I did that, and I got to the point where like I knew where all the keys were with muscle memory, and then I went to a different website and just focused on like accuracy and speed basically. But I did 2 hours on the first day. I think I did like an hour or two the next day. Yesterday I literally did like probably half an hour to 45 minutes.
So you upscaled pretty easily.
Yeah, no, it's why,
especially because you already knew where everything is.
I wasn't learning the locations of the keys.
Yeah,
that was
just
the thing.
Movement.
I was just building the muscle memory. Like have used a keyboard for so long, I could probably close my eyes and draw a keyboard and know roughly where every key is, because as you probably could as well if you use a keyboard.
Not like if I would like close my eyes and then pretend to press the buttons, I could.
Yeah.
But not just from like
memory. Oh, not from memory, no. Yeah. But my brain has like kind of a map of where the keys are. Yeah. So I didn't have to learn that, which I think is the part that people struggle with more. But for me, it was just building the muscle memory and retraining like which finger goes for which key kind of thing. Or like the pinky ones was like the pinky keys was the trickiest because I never used my pinky fingers to type.
Oh, really?
I didn't use them. I used all the others.
Like
but
shift.
I did for this pinky. I did for shift and control, but this one was a struggle. For like pressing P on the keyboard was a real like. I just didn't have the strength in my pinky finger at first, and it was like it was weird. Like and doing that quickly and consistently, like it was P and Q were the two ones that I struggled with the most. The rest of the letters I picked up fine, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this conversation. But the process of training your brain new muscle memory after you already have muscle memory is pretty crazy. But I also think it's super cool the way that your brain can do that. Just by sitting there and doing something over and over again, you can form the neural pathway and the...
That's like a really basic thing of doing. Because you know how they tell you that... it's better learn it right the first time than like try to relearn it later on. This
is a perfect example. Of that. I would, if I'd have been typing correctly for the amount of years that I've been typing, I would probably be one of those people that's hitting like 170, 180 words per minute with the amount of typing I do.
Jesus, yeah.
Well, no,
I don't know, man. I mean, so when I learned how to type, touch type, was I lived in Switzerland. I think I was like, what's 2001? I think I was maybe like 7 or 8 or something. And my stepsister at the time and we wanted a laptop for Christmas.
Yep.
And then my stepdad was like, "Okay, there's a condition. Both of you are gonna learn how to like type properly, like absolutely correctly. And if you can pass the test, then you're gonna get a laptop."
That's pretty good information.
Yeah. So basically, he drew out like all the symbols and shit like that, like how to type it, because. I don't know if he had in Google. He looked up a story of like I don't know, Hansel and Gretel or something, and he printed it out. And then like practice to type this, and then if you can type all this without looking at the keyboard with the proper technique, then you guys got a laptop.
That's pretty cool.
And but I don't feel like I improved. I mean, I type a lot and I type quickly, but I don't think I've improved that much.
You have to practice speed.
You have to practice the speed.
Yeah. Even with my current like abilities as a touch typer now, hitting like 88 words per minute. If I didn't continue to practice speed specifically, I would never improve. Well, you'd probably improve like to 100 or something, but you wouldn't get much more kind of thing. You have to actually keep pushing the limit and making the mistakes to learn from.
What I like doing now is just practicing one hand typing.
Yeah.
Because like on one side it's easy because you.
What's the other hand doing, mate?
Mouse, buddy, mouse.
Yep. I believe you, mate.
And then you can actually like place it in the middle of the keyboard. You can start like imagining where the other stuff was, and you can move it around.
I've seen some people that can actually type really quickly with one hand. It's not going to be something I really put much effort into though, because I don't use the mouse much. Like for me, typing quickly with both hands is more important.
Have you ever tried to like operate your computer just through the keyboard?
Yeah, you can pretty easily. I know most of the shortcuts you need.
Yeah, you can, but it seems like such a I've tried a few times.
It depends what you're doing. Like if you're doing something that requires mouse input, then it's a shit show.
No, but like for example, it's like. I need to go to my computer, open that up, I need to find this folder, go to this folder, open this program, and then I need to put this image in this. Like doing all of that through the keyboard inputs.
You just use the command line. Press the Windows key R, type CMD, press enter. Now you have a command line. You can do everything on the computer without a mouse. If you know how to use the command line. That's easy, man.
Sounds complicated.
If you need to like navigate between windows, just Alt Tab or Windows key and D to get to the desktop.
I mean, every guy knows Alt Tab. Every guy knows Alt Tab.
You know the funny thing is, I actually learned Alt Tab from when I was really young, telling my parents I was doing homework on the computer and then playing games. And the second one of them would walk into the room to check what I was doing. Alt Tab. I had parents that didn't know how to use a computer as well. That was
same more or less. Not to the degree that I know how.
That's what I was about to say with like the typing.
But you know, that's different. Like using a computer to type Word.
And
operating or just operating a computer in general, right? Yeah.
No, mine were the opposite. My computer use was very limited, like intentionally limited for a long time. Both of my parents really didn't see computers as a tool initially. They saw it as like a kind of a waste of time. Yeah. And to be honest, to this day, my dad probably still does because he doesn't use computers.
That's so insane to think of like how much money is in computing, and not only for like work, but especially video games, like streaming, making video games, playing video games. There's so much money in it now, and some people still consider it a waste of time.
For him, no, I'll retract that statement.
No, sorry, I mean in general.
No.
Specific.
But I will. I don't want to sound like I'm meaning something I'm not with him. He understands the value of computers, but he doesn't use them himself. He doesn't have a use for them. He's not in the generation that really grew up with them. He's got no interest in them. But he does know that obviously there's a lot of money in that industry.
Right.
But there is, you're completely right. There's people out there that look at computers as a waste of time. I think our generation was probably the last generation that will be raised with that mindset in a way, because we were kind of the generation that grew up before computers were a thing, and then we grew up with them, with computers and the internet. But for me it was fighting a constant battle of being super interested by them and seeing a lot of potential for a career in a hobby that I enjoyed, kind of thing. And having two parents that were kind of like, no, you should go outside, you should get some sun, blah, blah, blah. Which is good, don't get me wrong. Like, you need balance. But it took me a long time, probably till like halfway through high school, to kind of show like my reasoning for the
being
interest.
Confident in like the interest kind of thing.
Actually like kind of go, well, look, this is the career that I'm focusing on. So like, this is my reasoning. There's money to be made here if you're good at it, kind of thing. But
it's like you were coming out as someone that enjoys computers.
Kind of, I guess. No, they never like. It wasn't to the point that I was in trouble for using them. Because they knew it was necessary. I had to use computers for assignments. It's just
how much time you were wasting.
But like personal time, hobby, like spending free time, they would have preferred that I didn't spend it on a computer, I'd say. But like it's.
I think
the changing times.
I think if you ask any parent of like our generation. Or of like our parents' generation, they're all going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Because that's the way they were raised. They were raised that kids go outside and play.
Well, they weren't even raised with computers, so they never even got that value input. And not to mention that, they were raised on like, based on fears of a Great War or Great Depression from their parents. So I don't know if you did, but I got a lot of get a stable job, make sure in case something goes wrong, you're sorted. Go
to university, get a degree.
That mentality stems from like the famine mentality that something's going to go wrong, you want to have a backup plan. When now you're not really going to get that kind of mindset from parents most of the time. I think there's probably still some. No,
not at the moment, but I think it's a cyclical thing that like there's probably going to be another Great Depression. There's going to be another generation that raises their kids to save every spare cent.
Sure, but I'm just talking about like now.
But for our generation, we were at the. I think our parents, the baby boomers, to specify for anyone that doesn't know how old we are.
I still don't know what those terms mean, man. Like
I don't know most of them. I know my parents are baby. I know my parents' generation. They're in the 60s now. They are baby boomers. Okay. My generation, or our generation, we are millennials, I think, technically.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure the generation below us is like Gen X or Y or Z. I don't know.
Yeah.
They fucking switched it off and went with letters.
Yeah. It's fluent like everything else these days.
But No, I think you're right. It is. It's a generational thing because of what each generation has experienced.
Yeah.
And I think our generation as parents is probably going to take it to the opposite extreme. I think
Yeah, we're not going to be prepared enough.
But we're not going to limit. I think a majority of parents our age probably don't limit their kids enough on computers.
Not even parents our age. Like,
yeah, but people in general.
Yeah.
Or younger parents, older parents, anyone.
All the parents, yeah.
I think there is value in being exposed to that type of stuff young, but you need balance. You need to still. Well, what I'm meaning is there's parents out there that when they can't be bothered dealing with their kid, they'll just put an iPad in front of them or something like that. And I think, yeah, there is times where that's useful, like if you're doing a road trip or something.
Yeah.
But it's a shortcut method, and you're not gonna fully get like that. You're depriving that kid of a lot of experiences and
interaction
growth,
and learning by like discussion and reasoning and like explaining why this, why that, not just like switch off.
So I think from both ends of the spectrum, whether you're my parents' generation trying to limit kids too much, or your generation is these days where it's just do what you want, just don't bother me kind of thing. I think it's more about finding that middle ground. I don't know. Anyway, teach your kids how to type, because learning how to do it at 25 years old is shit. That's my advice.
You took it out in like 5 hours? It was sweet.
Yeah, I swear I have ADHD, man. Because like all I wanted to do for days was just practice typing.
I feel you, man.
I don't know. I just get like these hyperfixated moments where it's like this new hobby is my favorite thing to do.
When I built that website, because how it started off as when I was like working with one of my clients in a coffee shop. Another person asked me for my details, and so I gave her my details. She lost them. I told the staff though that like if she comes back, give her my number, and it was all good. And that made me think like, fuck, I need a website. And so it happens that my uni assignment needed a website also. So for the past 3 to 5 days, I just spent from morning until evening just non-stop making this website for everything. Like not just like structuring it, but making all the graphics, all the backgrounds, like all the buttons, all the backdrops, everything, just for 5 days straight. I didn't want to do anything else.
I feel you.
It's weird, I guess that way. Hey.
Yeah.
And
I think especially if you're a creative type.
Yeah.
When you get excited about making something like that, it's all you want to do.
Yeah.
And it kind of for me, it consumes me in a way.
Yeah. Like you don't eat, you don't talk to anyone, like you just don't do anything but like sit on that computer.
And it's not healthy, but look, it's probably a good thing in a lot of ways. I think a lot of the random skills that I have are purely because I get this obsessive interest in things and get really focused on it for a short period of time, and then just move on to the next thing. I don't know. It's how I learned to code in the first place. It's just by like being, hey, this is kind of cool. I'm gonna do this and nothing but this for a while, and then suddenly, what I was doing.
Well, so back to the typewriter the keyboard thing. Fun fact: I'm not sure if that was the exact reason why these keyboards are structured the way they are with the layout, but one of the reasons why the keys are laid out in that specific order is so that when salesmen try to sell the typewriter, they can type typewriter with just the top row of the keys, so they don't have to look around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you could
I was reading into it.
Writer, yeah.
Do you know how they designed this keyboard, this layout? Once again, went full obsessive curiosity mode. Originally, this keyboard layout was designed to stop typewriters jamming up. Was the reason why they so. With a typewriter, you know how you have like you press the key and you have the lever that flicks and like hits the paper. Yeah, that's the dumbest description of a typewriter ever, but we're gonna roll with it.
That makes sense.
They're kind of like curved so that all the flicky things can hit the paper. The way they've designed this is they've spaced out the letters in a way so that letters that are similar aren't next to each other. Letters that occur close together, commonly in English words, are further apart on the typewriter.
Oh, okay. So
that when the things are flicking out, they
Right.
don't hit each other and jam, because that slows you down and causes problems.
Yeah.
So they actually used math.
Yeah, so it's based on the usage of each letter
Yeah.
and stuff like
So
that.
Then
why the fuck does it say typewriter on the top?
I don't know, man. I think it's probably just pure chance.
I got lied to.
Yeah, but I look into it. They used math to work out the letters that occur most commonly together in the English language specifically, and then they spaced them as far apart as possible so that there was no chance of jamming, which indirectly helps when you're doing touch typing as well, because then you've got different fingers doing different commonly used keys.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing stems back from typewriters and stopping them from jamming up originally.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
It makes so much more sense than like the typewriter thing.
But no, it's
That's cool.
crazy concept.
2 fun facts.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And we still to this day have stuck with that layout, even though we don't use typewriters anymore. It's an effective layout for computers.
Well, that's
too.
the whole idea behind those like custom-made keyboards. Like now people are looking at it and are thinking, okay, is this having the square block, is that the best way to shape a keyboard? Like some people make them curved. I saw like a keyboard that's broken up into 2 pieces.
Yep.
So it's like each hand, and you just you type it's the exact same layout.
But you don't have the.
It's just that you're not connected like this. You can be
That's actually
connected
good
like that.
ergonomics.
Yeah,
Because
you
you're
just like
supposed
sit
to.
in there.
Yeah. I'm never gonna learn another keyboard layout. Because that's what we're talking about when you're talking about split keyboards and stuff like that. Technically, they're considered a different layout. Technically.
Wait, hold on a second. Like, are we talking about layout as in like the physical structure of it, or are we talking about the button
layout technically is where the keys are on the keyboard. But when you're talking about curved keyboards, for example, it's a different layout than a flat keyboard, because you can't use the same muscle memory.
Yeah, you can.
Not if it's the keyboard itself is curved. You have to place your fingers.
No, but the sections, like the actual keyboard sections, aren't curved. It's just that the way the shape of the keyboard, right?
I guess.
So they break it in half where like it stops, and then because if your fingers on J, you're hitting the H key. You're not going to go over to the G and the other side.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So you just split it in half, and then you have like a square keyboard, like 2 parts. And then you get that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you're not learning anything new. You're just like getting used to like a different spacing of your arms, really.
I wouldn't go to that extreme, but the more that I use keyboards, the more that I'm starting to cut off keys. In that my first keyboard was a full length keyboard with the numpad and everything like that. And then for the last couple of years, I've been using what they call the 10 keyless, which is like a normal layout keyboard with the numpad gone, basically. I'm actually thinking for my next keyboard, it will be something a little bit smaller, which would be...
like no F keys or something?
No, I like the 65% layout, is what they call it. So it's 65% of a full keyboard. It's actually pretty much exactly this layout on the laptop here. So you've got... I know they can't see.
From...
I'll show you. So... This is 10 keyless, right? I don't know for anyone that can see on the camera. That's 10 keyless. This numpad's cut off. Everything else is a standard keyboard layout. If you compare these two, the way they do the 65% is they move the arrow keys and shorten the shift and kind of squish them up there.
Yeah.
And they get rid of some of the unnecessary buttons up here and then put them in a line down there. And then the rest of the keyboard is
that
standard.
makes sense.
That's, to me, probably going to be the ideal keyboard size, I think. I don't think I would go any bigger or smaller than that from now on.
The only thing that I dislike about laptop-sized keyboards is that it's really cramped. Like, unless you get the right space in between the keys, you're gonna... I just... First of all, laptop keyboards don't have enough, like, tactile feedback.
No, I wouldn't use a laptop keyboard. I would use a mechanical keyboard with a...
But they need to have, like, some kind of spacing.
Yeah.
Like, the fucking Apple keyboards, they're the worst.
I hate them.
Like, you don't even feel if you're pressing anything. It's just like a little piece of plastic that you're like denturing in.
Even this one, like, feel these. It's better than an Apple one,
that's
but it's still
but
it's not mechanical.
No, all good. Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, I could talk about keyboards for hours. They are my new obsession, apparently.
No, but it'd be cool if you build your own like custom,
Well, that's what
different shape and shit like that.
I'm not going to do different shape,
Oh,
but
well, then
I'm
it
going
doesn't
to
matter.
eventually, after I build a PC, I'd say, so like a while down the road, you buy custom like keyboard cases, which is like the what everything goes in, and then you get the PCB, which is like the actual circuit board.
Yeah, basically you're like a building kit for a keyboard.
Well, no, you don't. It's not a kit. You buy the
Yeah.
parts individually.
Yeah, you assemble
and then,
a kit to
and you
make the
solder
keyboard.
the switches, the key switches, onto the PCB, and then you take your switches apart, lube them, put them together. Like, there's so much customization options for that.
You're gonna be sitting there lubing little plastic bits.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna do that for hours.
Well, so what's the idea behind it? You get like a nicer kind of like.
It's just making a keyboard
Press.
that suits your preferences, because you can't
What's the lube
often
gonna
buy.
do?
Well, the lube makes it easier to press, and it makes it smoother when you press it, and it makes it sound better. That's the lubes.
Okay.
You don't have to do it, but it does apparently improve
I'm
it.
curious now. I'll probably
Have a
do
look
it.
into it. Yeah. To be able to lube your switches, though, you have to have a keyboard where you can take the switches out. So you wouldn't be able to do it on your keyboard, for example. Couldn't do it on any of my keyboards. Oh,
You
on
should.
the Logitech clicky one, you could actually, because those switches come out.
Razors, did they come out?
No. No. Anyway, I won't keep talking about keyboards forever.
Masks.
Yeah.
So
How you been enjoying that?
just to give a bit of context for all of you people that are listening outside of the Gold Coast. So since I don't know, it was like what, 5 days ago, we
Yeah.
basically went
Let's
into
call it a
lockdown.
week.
Yeah, well,
Week
roughly.
ago.
We went to lockdown. Well, not really lockdown.
No, it's not even lockdown. It's just the mask mandate.
like the upper Brisbane area went into lockdown, and then Queensland-wide mandate of having to wear a mask
Yep.
indoors or outdoors if you're within 1.5 meters of the person, basically.
Basically, the old traditional mask rules that everyone
Yeah.
had last year, but are now,
Funnily enough,
yeah.
we never actually had any
We
mask rules.
No.
Yeah, which is
It was
crazy.
encouraged, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't a legal requirement like it is.
But it's so crazy, isn't it? Like, we are a year, basically a whole year into the coronavirus, where all this shit happened around the world. Queensland
It was fine.
didn't have to wear masks until 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Like,
But to be fair, like,
wow.
I'm not going to get political, but I know a lot of people agree and disagree with closing down the borders, the Queensland borders, and
Yeah,
having all of that.
I think that was
happen.
the best idea ever.
I strongly believe it was. Well, we're in Queensland, so
Yeah,
we probably think it's a
yeah.
good idea. I think everyone outside
We
of
weren't-
Queensland probably
yeah.
hates the idea, but it really worked well for us for a long time, and it is continuing to work well. Like
Yeah.
in my opinion, in a global pandemic, being overcautious is a better thing than being undercautious. So locking down the borders when you might not need to, forcing everyone to wear a mask when you might not need to. These are all things that I think are okay for shorter periods of time. Instead
You're
of,
taking away people's freedom, Calvin. You're taking away their freedom.
You know the
and
funny thing
you're
about-
ruining their lives.
you know, the funny thing about viruses is
Yeah.
viruses don't care whether you want freedom or not. They will infect you regardless.
But they won't infect you if you're sitting in a restaurant eating or drinking
Yeah, that's
while
true.
not wearing a mask.
You are immune
But-
from COVID.
Yeah,
Yep.
but as soon as you stand up and walk around, God forbid you're gonna catch the fucking COVID.
COVID just waits until it's
yeah,
out.
yeah.
But no,
Or like if you're in crowds of like 20 or 40 people, then you're okay. But
anymore. And you've got COVID.
no, there's some of them have good reason behind it. But yeah.
Yeah,
so-
what I'm meaning is though, I would much rather, as someone who is having to wear a mask for the next 2 weeks, I would much rather wear a mask for 2 weeks now and stop
yeah,
local transmission
yeah,
than put off wearing a mask to the point that it was a much bigger problem
Yeah.
and then have to go and wear a mask for 6 months
Yeah.
straight, kind of thing.
I
I
agree.
think a lot more people don't see the bigger picture when they complain about wearing a mask.
No,
And
well-
it's shit. No one likes it.
the big picture that they see is the government trying to encroach on your like
People
rights,
just don't like being told what to do.
and so
People just don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
and then the funny thing is they go and tell other people what to do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's fucking like
What's the saying? You're gonna hear me say this saying a million times because we talk about this type of shit all the time. But one of my favorite sayings is the people who know the least speak the loudest.
Oh yeah.
And
you did say it on the podcast.
I say it all the time. It's a life motto of mine. The dumbest people yell with their beliefs the loudest. And this pandemic has been a really perfect example of the people who are so opinionated that they're refusing to listen to facts. And I don't know. I don't like stupidity, man. That's my problem.
Personally, that's a shitty problem to have because there's a lot of it around,
and it really frustrates me.
No, so us having to wear a mask.
Yep.
I couldn't care less about having to wear a mask or about being forced to wear a mask for at least 2 weeks, depending on how things go.
Because it works in your favor.
Yeah, but also not just like separate from this. Like I'm not really concerned about the coronavirus.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm not really concerned about the coronavirus. And I wore a mask for the first time a week ago. And I thought to myself, this is not that bad. And then between like car rides to like deliveries and shit like that, and going back to the store, at the store we have to wear them. And to the door of a person's house we have to wear them. In the car I don't have to. And it came to a point, it's like, I can't be fucked doing this. I'm just going to keep wearing it. Like, it's really not a fucking big deal. And people are actually like worried about having to wear a mask.
I will openly say that I don't enjoy wearing a mask when I have to wear it for extended periods of time. Like I did a 8-hour shift yesterday, and by the end of that shift, my mask was like kind of hurting the back of my ears because I didn't take it off the whole time I was there. So you're wearing a mask for that long, and it does like kind of rub on you. Yeah. Probably my fault. I've got short hair. I've got no hair protecting the back of my ears.
Yeah, but it makes sense. You know, like if you wear headphones for a long time, it's what happens. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that little bit of discomfort is better than the extreme discomfort of having COVID, in my opinion, and the extreme discomfort of having someone like. For me, the whole mask debate, I think, is dumb because people are complaining that you're taking away their freedom when you tell them to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't impact them if they wear a mask or not. The thing that annoys me is it impacts the people around them. The mask doesn't protect you from getting COVID. It protects you giving it to other people, or at least reduces the chance of that, right?
It's a spread.
Yeah. So you can yell about freedom as much as you want, but I think I personally have the right and the freedom to not be infected by COVID by someone refusing to wear a mask.
Yes.
So I will happily sacrifice a bit of discomfort to not have the chance of giving it to someone else, if that makes sense. And I think more people are too self-centered to care about that. They know that COVID probably won't kill them, and they don't really care, or they don't believe in it, or whatever their reasoning is. Yeah. It's a conspiracy. Woo.
Let's move on before we get stuck there.
I get really mad. Look, moral of the story, I think, yes, you have a right to wear what you want, do what you want, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in a public space and you're interacting with other people, they also have the right to not be infected by you. And in that situation, I think it's very fair and reasonable to just behave like you do live in a society. Or leave the society.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, if you don't want to wear a mask, move and isolate yourself. If you're going to be involved in the social contract that we have all signed, then abide by the social contract. That's my opinion.
I agree.
I won't get into too far into it because otherwise I'll ramble.
You know what does annoy me about a mask though?
What?
If you wear it for a prolonged period of time, you can smell your breath, right?
Yep. You got bad breath, mate.
Well, after like 4 hours of wearing it and it just like seeps into the mask, I can't imagine you having a fucking daisy fresh breath at that point.
If you brush your teeth before you put it on.
For real? Your breath just doesn't get bad during the day.
What type of mask are you wearing?
Just a cloth mask.
Like a medical mask? Or? Oh, I got these. So what have we sold these? So I've just been wearing this. That one's not too bad. Like you don't smell yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just it gets uncomfortable on the back of your ears. That's
Yeah,
all.
because you have giant fucking ball things at the back of it.
Well, it's adjustment, so you can tighten it and stuff. But no, it's not that part. It's actually this bit here rubs on the top of your ear. And short periods of time, it's fine. But when you wear it for like 8 hours straight, then it gets annoying.
Yeah,
But anyway. So you smell your breath. You got bad breath, yeah.
Thanks, man. I just made it sound horrible. But anyway, if you eat a breath mint and you breathe out, all the air goes out because your eyes are water. Or if you wear sunglasses and it goes
they
up.
fog up.
It's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, I work with a girl who has to wear glasses, and all shift yesterday we were joking that she needed windscreen wipers on her glasses because they were fogging up every breath. I feel for her.
They need better ventilation on those masks.
Yeah, well that's the problem. You can't ventilate a mask that's supposed to restrict your breath. I think there is ways around it though. People were getting like double-sided tape and sticking the top down so that the air doesn't escape. Yeah, which would be uncomfortable, but it would stop the fog.
Yeah, and then you get like glue rash and shit like that from the tape.
I'm not a scientist.
Fair enough.
All I know is I don't know anything. That's all I know.
Oh, so you're Socrates.
Yeah.
There's this one thing I wanted to try for this podcast, because like just to see like what kind of things we can do.
Yep.
There is a random question generator.
Oh. Okay.
And then see what kind of conversation we can play off that. Because a lot of the time we do have like similar themes that we talk about.
What's it called?
Random questions generator. So I figured, like, what if we give this a shot and then try and discuss something that's completely random?
Let's do it.
And then it's like, the question is like, so what do you think about coding?
facultywashington.edu. What conversation started? Do you have a specific one that you've looked at, or random word?
No, I'm not too well versed in the programs of generating random questions.
I like this.
Just click one. You've made the wrong choice.
What?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Press next
what wrong
question.
assumptions do people make?
Wait,
Do you want to do that one, or do you want to start a new one?
Just press next. Let's see how it goes. What do you need help with most often?
You want to do that one? Or
These are terrible questions.
Well, we can try a different one.
Hold on.
Yeah, those are shit. Alright, let's try a new one.
Oh, I think this is the one, yeah.
You got a duck.
It's just a duck floating on the screen. But yeah.
What story does your family always tell about you? You want to start that one off?
I don't have a family. No, it's just like me and my mum here, so I don't really know what story. You go. Do you have one?
Probably the one I've heard most often is when I was really young, I tried to sell bundles of sticks at the front gate to people that were driving by.
You were selling fags in the corner of the road.
I just saw your eyes lit up when you saw that opportunity.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, no. Okay. I'm pretty sure my whole business was I picked pieces of grass.
Sorry, faggots, not fags.
Yeah. Get your terminology correct.
Yeah.
No, I got a little stepladder. I was really young. I was like toddler age, and this was a different time where you could apparently leave your kids at the front yard and not have them taken.
How good were those times?
Yeah, I know, different days.
Different days.
But anyway, so yeah, in my front yard, I picked some grass and I like tied bundles of grass up with grass, and then I got bundles of sticks and then tied them together with grass. And
make makeshift ropes.
No, just like literal bundles. Yeah, like I don't know what they're for. I don't know why anyone would want them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I set up like a little step ladder, had like a little stall, and tried to sell grass and sticks to people that drove by. And apparently, I sold one. Don't know who bought that.
Bro, like two stoners came along. Like, what?
Nah, I think it was just like the cuteness factor of like a little toddler trying to start his own little business. But yeah, that was a thing that I did, and I've been reminded of that constantly coming into adulthood.
Do you think that, you know how we were just at like the times when we thought that kids don't get taken? Do you think that back then kids were actually taken less?
No,
than
I
now?
just don't think you heard about it as much because the internet
Yeah,
wasn't a thing. I think it still
exactly.
happened. It was
I
just
agree.
more slid under the rug.
How would you like raise your kid these days? Do you think you'd have the same leniency as your parents did back then, or would you?
Depends
be way
where you
more-
live.
Okay.
I think to me it depends on like if you're living in the city, then no.
Hmm.
But if you live in like a more isolated area, I reckon you can allow your kids
That's
a little
usually
bit more freedom.
when most of murders happen, right? Like in the little towns and stuff where no one really knows about anything.
Well, no, within reason. I'm not saying like you
Yeah.
let them roam forever, but like I think if it's a smaller community where everyone
Yeah.
knows everyone, I think you can more comfortably let your kids be unsupervised than in a big city where, like, for example, my neighbors. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with any of my neighbors around here. I just live here and they live next to me, but we're not.
How weird
Close.
is that? Hey?
Yeah.
You don't talk to any of your neighbors.
But if you live in a small country town, it's you know everyone kind of thing. So even if
Yeah.
your kid is going down to the shops unsupervised, then
Yeah,
he or she is gonna pass other families and other adults that have watched that kid grow up for their whole life, kind of thing. So it's a lot easier to trust that the kid's being supervised a little bit more while still allowing them that freedom. In the city, no one would probably give a shit. No one would step in
Exactly,
because you're anonymous here.
Yeah,
compared to-
exactly.
yeah.
People would just like look at you and like.
Yeah. Oh well, it's not my problem. Not my
Yeah.
kid. Like that's the way
Whereas,
city people
Yeah,
treat
as you
the
said, in
problem.
like townspeople, they'd be like, "Oh, there goes his kid."
Yeah, exactly. That I've
Then
watched
you
that
actually
kid grow
notice
up
it.
since he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like a foot tall. Yeah. So it
agree.
depends to me what type of community you're involved in. But I think it also just comes down to preparing them as much as you can and teaching the kid to be smart about encountering strangers. Like
Would you get them like a mobile phone really early just to have that peace of mind?
I probably would, to be honest. But I mean, even that, like a mobile phone's only useful if you have reception and you have battery and you have someone hasn't ripped the phone out of your hands and thrown it away. Like there's only so much a mobile phone.
Implanted chip connected to Starlink.
GPS tracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my cat's just.
Yeah.
Nah, for me it would be more educate the child not to trust randoms and look, teach them a martial art from a young age.
Yeah.
Educate them on self-defense. Educate them on just not trusting everyone and approaching a situation in a polite but safe way. Then you can trust that kid a lot more than if you just try and seclude them and protect them. Because no matter how old that kid gets, if you raise a kid and wrap it in bubble wrap and protect it too much, it's gonna grow up and it'll be the kid that gets done by
It's gonna be a
scammers
weirdo.
every 3
Yeah.
minutes. Kind of
Yeah.
thing. The one that sends money to a Nigerian prince, kind of thing. Like you need to expose them a little bit in a safe way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The only story that I could think of that doesn't really get retold, but it's just like in the context of like a family thing that kind of like happened. This one time in Switzerland, we were skiing, and it was like my mom, my stepsister, my stepdad, and then sometimes when you fall down skiing, you fall down on your stomach, and then you're like your legs are up behind you like this, and you're just like Supermaning it, you know. So this one time I was like we were skiing down, and you know how you like go S shapes and shit, and I was going pretty fast and I fell down. I couldn't stop. And I just kept like sliding down towards like this corner bend and like this edge with the trees. And I just started like, I just remember like started to like cry and scream really loud because I thought there were wolves down there and I didn't want to like fall down. And yeah, that was a family related story.
That's a good
But I
one.
specifically remember that there's some kind of like an animal down there that's gonna eat me.
Was there? You just thought there was?
I just thought that was, because it was like a small like hill thing. But
Nah, that's a fair story.
yeah,
Do you want to try another one?
it's actually too bad. What issue will you always speak?
Stupidity.
Oh wait, what?
Oh, sorry.
what
I
issue will you-
should read the question out first. What issue will you always speak your mind about?
Oh, stupid
Stupidity.
people.
Yeah. I'll always speak about stupid people.
Conspiracy theorists.
Just lack of critical thinking. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
answer. What's your one? Is that the same answer?
I'd say spirituality. Just
Yeah, that's
people
a
that
good
are
one.
into like crystals and healing magic and all that stuff. I'm not against it. I'm
Believe
sure
what you
there's-
want, but don't force it upon other people. That's my rule of thumb
Yeah,
with
but
any.
I'd imagine like this question would be towards was kind of like one of those things that just like grinds your gears when you hear it that you can't help but fucking
Yeah.
speak out about
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So yeah, it's just those like okay, so more specifically, when people tell you that this like piece of rock will take out all the radiation around us, how we were talking about before, that's the one thing, because you're fooling dumb people, like, and like those fucking balance bracelets and shit, like, oh, you're
See, for me, when I say stupidity, I
Yeah.
lump all of those people in
Yeah,
the same
okay,
basket.
yeah.
I lump the flat earthers, the people that are believing in healing crystals, and people that are anti-mask, like all that shit. Just put it all in the same basket. I'll
Fair.
speak up about all that shit.
fair.
But yeah, especially those things where it's people are vocally trying to convert other people into their belief of something that is factually incorrect.
And
that's where I really
and they're
get
doing it. Yeah, they're doing it through like
exploitative,
conmanship, yeah.
exploitative methods.
those
yeah.
bracelets, man. When they go like, see, when I'm wearing this, and you try to pull it down, you can't even move me. But if I take it off, I go down straight away. It's like, what? This is crazy. How have we not used this technology in wars? You know, like just being superhuman and like in martial arts and shit. Like what?
Because then they don't make a profit off it.
Yeah,
that's the
that's it.
thing. You have to buy it
Yeah.
for it to work. Apparently.
Yeah.
Nah, that's my answer to that question. The thing that I'll always speak my mind about is stupidity.
What's your take? Have you seen Bad Trip? The new
No.
movie on Netflix.
No.
It's with Eric Andre. I can't remember his name.
Yep.
But it's one of those like Borat style movies where they're playing a character in the real world.
Yep. Okay.
And the people aren't in on it until the cameras come out. So this movie recently came out a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually pretty fucking funny.
Okay.
And well, what's your take on just messing with people? Because they're not technically messing with people. They're more so messing with each other and people like reacting to it because it's something like crazy. What's your take on like the morality of like fooling someone like that?
It depends on what you're meaning. Like if you're... What situation are you talking about? Like a Borat style film where it's just like...
Yeah, like you're not fucking with the people. Like you're almost like making a fool out of a person indirectly because they're believing whatever the storyline you're playing out. And then like at the end the cameras come out and they're like, oh, I didn't even realize this was a thing. And then
I think if you're just acting, they're just acting, showing the way they'd respond to the
Yeah.
situation, I guess. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like,
it always like makes me slightly like cringy and nervous because like it's how do you explain it? I don't know, you're like telling a lie basically, you know, and you're fooling people. And then there's this one bit where it just didn't, obviously the bloopers at the end, it just didn't plan out too well. And then like they were at the bar, and that was not part of the movie. They were at the bar and they pretty much put like a bag of like yellow water into his jacket and make it look like he's walking out with his dick pissing everywhere. And he tried to talk to people, and then one of the guys, they basically told him that like the safe word is bumper. And then one of the guys who came up with it, he tells him to fuck off, and he's like speaks back to him and walks away. And then the guy's like, she just breaks the glass, walks to him, and you just hear like Eric Andre's like bumper, bumper, bumper. It's like you get that response sometimes, and then I don't know. I'd imagine the person wouldn't, you know, enjoy that kind of interaction.
I think it depends on the situation. Like if
Yeah,
you're...
it depends on the joke.
Yeah, if you're just acting a character and that person is interacting with you as if you are that character, then they're just responding to the world and I don't know, the way they would normally because they're not aware of the joke kind of
Yeah.
thing. But then again, if you're playing like a more, I don't know, sinister prank on them, it really depends on context, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Yeah, not a very informative answer for you though, but
It was a loose question. Anyway.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way.
those type of movies have never been too interesting to me. Like I've seen
Really?
Borat and stuff like that, but
I did not something I'd seek out,
nah.
but that one's actually funny. I'm glad I watched that one.
I'll probably check it out actually.
It's some of the bits are just like the way people. What was your best? The way that people like react is something that's fucking hilarious. What
check
was
it
your
out.
best birthday?
I don't really have a good answer to this one.
Me neither. What would you do on the free afternoon?
Nah, that's a pretty boring answer for me as well.
Coding,
Same thing I
graphic
always
design.
do.
Planning on taking over the world? What's your
Yeah.
favorite book? Do you have a favorite book? Is it the C++?
I was gonna say at the moment it's
For real?
Professional C++ by
Yikes.
Mark Gregoire. Nah, that's the book I'm reading at the moment, but it's not like a book. It's not a page turner. It's definitely not a page turner. It's a book that I
imagine it to be.
It's required reading for what I'm trying to achieve, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's nothing super exciting.
Mm.
Favorite book? I don't actually know. It probably would be one of my the books that I read when I was a kid. Probably just for nostalgia reasons.
Were
I'd
you
say.
one of the people that read the whole Harry Potter thing?
Yeah, I read Harry Potter.
Oh, for real?
I didn't read.
Damn.
Actually, no, I did read all of them. I used to like reading a lot. I
I
read.
can tell.
Yeah.
You still do, apparently.
Yeah. No, I think my favorite would have been Aragon. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah.
I
read that.
read those books when I was a kid. I read them 4 or 5 times through, the whole series. But then they made a movie about it and it just ruined everything. I really left a sour taste in my mouth, so I never went back to it. But yeah, those are probably the books I've read the most and enjoyed the most. But in this day and age, most of the books I read is more for information than for entertainment. So
Yeah.
nothing exciting.
I mean, I have a few, but in terms of story-wise, probably have to give it to Dan Brown, The Lost Symbol. Dan Brown's the one that does the Da Vinci's Code and Inferno and all that shit. And I like it because it's based a fictional kind of spin that's rooted in mythology when it comes to conspiracies about the Freemasons and all the structures about the Washington building and the obelisk and all that. So it takes all of that Freemasonry lore and combines it with a fictional story in a real setting, and then drives that kind of thing. And The Last Symbol was it's easy to read, but it's so fucking cool. It just the ideology behind it.
I might check it out.
That was
Yeah, I haven't
that was
read
really
that.
interesting.
No, I've really recently gotten back into reading books, to be honest. I for a long time didn't, but I've actually been enjoying it. It's been helping me get to sleep at night, actually. Well, the whole blue light thing makes a big difference when you're staring at a screen before bed compared to reading
so
a
have
book.
you been trying the whole stop all electronics an hour beforehand, or?
Some nights I have, some nights I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm actually on a consistent enough sleep schedule that it doesn't matter too much to me anymore because I'm getting 8 hours sleep a day.
But the quality of sleep could be so much better.
Yeah, I don't know. Some nights, a lot of nights I'm trying to read before bed, but then in the last couple of days I got addicted to typing. So usually what I've been doing right before bed has just been typing for half an hour or so. But no, even tonight, I'd say once we finish here, I'm probably just going to read for the rest of the night. I've been trying to do that a lot more recently, and I have actually noticed, for me, it's not the quality of sleep that's improved. It's been how quickly I can get to sleep.
Yeah.
I can, nowadays, can just lie down and within what seems 4 minutes, I can be out cold kind of thing.
Yeah.
Minor exaggeration, but yeah, very quick. Whereas I used to lie down and just lie there for hours and not be able to get to sleep. So for me, that's been the big improvement.
Fuck, that's the worst thing.
Yeah.
What would you do in that scenario? Just keep trying? Or
I
do
used
you,
to give
get
up on it.
and-
Sometimes I
Yeah.
used to give up on it and get back up and do stuff until I was tired.
Yeah.
Other times I've just laid there and tried to like force myself. Oh, there's our alarm.
Yeah, force yourself.
But yeah, I've forcing it for me doesn't really work. If I
Yeah.
can't get to sleep, I just don't go to sleep.
Sleep!
Yeah.
Sleep!
If anything, that makes it harder to go to sleep.
Yeah, forcing yourself to sleep.
But yeah, for me, it's more about the preparation before I try and go to sleep. If I try and go to sleep when I'm not tired, I'll just lie there. But if I'm doing things that are going to cause me to become a little bit more like relaxed, then yeah, it makes it a lot easier to get to sleep.
Yeah.
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
no, I haven't noticed a measurable improvement in sleep quality. Just purely in time to sleep. Let's call it. That's my measurement. Time to sleep.
Time to sleep.
Yeah.
Alright, let's hit one more question and then
Yeah.
we'll get out of here. Right, what's the last book you have? Oh, it's actually cool. Do you have anything for that? Okay, we'll skip
I
that.
can't think of a book that I have stopped reading recently.
Didn't we just have this?
Yeah. Worst movie you've ever seen. You got a good one?
The Room. Have you seen The Room?
Was that the one where it's like everyone's in a circle and they have to like kill each other off one by one? No?
Pretty sure it's called Room. There's like Room and The Room. The Room is with it's become like a huge meme where it's fuck, I don't remember the names.
I was gonna say Sharknado.
Oh, Sharknado was, yeah, it was shit. Did you know that they had like 4 or 5 sequels to that? The Room?
I don't know how.
Have you not seen The Room?
No, I haven't.
It's
3 out of 3.7 out of 10.
with Tommy Wiseau and yeah, so
never
basically
heard of
the
it.
acting is so awkward in it. Like it's so incredibly awkward.
It's like uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, that like it doesn't. The best way they described it is that this movie is made as if an alien observed life on Earth and tried to replicate it in a film, and that's the film.
Honestly, that's piqued my interest just to watch it
Like,
to see how uncomfortable
Sharknado
it is.
is bad because of like
It's just trashy bad.
yeah, because it's just like the storyline,
But
the
it-
concept.
It
the
doesn't take itself
CGI.
seriously though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Does this take itself seriously? Like, does it seem...
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And yeah, Sharknado is like a kind of like cringy comedy kind of thing, and the acting is still considered as like real acting kind of thing, just like loosely. Where this one is like it's real acting, but it's so odd. Like
Okay.
it is so extremely odd, man. That yeah.
I might have to give it a watch sometime.
If you ever need a movie this is like a cult classic movie.
Yeah, okay.
Like to a point where James Franco, no, not James Franco. Yeah, is it James Franco? So basically they recreated, I think 2 years ago.
I did hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I remember them
Oh
recreating
yeah,
a
it was
movie.
James Franco's Tommy Wiseau, and then his younger brother Dave Franco as his best friend in the
Yep.
movie.
Okay.
And
I heard about them remaking a movie, but I didn't know what movie it was.
Yeah, so that was the movie,
Gotcha.
and yeah, it was cool and like it was fun, and they nailed the acting like comparisons, but the original Room is just so fucking ridiculous, man.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds funny.
Uh-huh.
Even like the promotional photos and stuff look questionable.
Oh, dude. I was like, we'll stop this. Check out the trailer quickly. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Follow us. Do all the stuff that you do.
Yeah, do the thing. Do the thing.
Do the thing. Bye.